Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Capital Planning Committee meeting of March 3rd, 2021. I'd like to welcome everyone to 2021. Hopefully it's a better year than 2020 for you. But let's get right into the agenda. Our first order of business is for the 2022 capital budget request, and it'll be information technology. And welcome, Michael, and the floor is yours.
Oh, we can't hear you, Mike. I could hear you earlier, but you're not muted, but I can't hear you.
You have two different microphones, Mike? You're muted now.
Now you're muted. Not really.
You're very soft.
Settings. Where are the settings? I had them
Oh,
up
that's
there.
better now.
I didn't do anything.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's magic.
It was a solar flare.
Everything in IT is magic. You know that.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so 33,456, which is an estimate based on this year's prices for 31 computers. In addition to that, time that we upgrade the mail server, which is now at Exchange 2013. That quote is from Terminal from a couple of months ago. They said it'll be good for a while, so 36,464 for that. The other option to that would be to go with Outlook, what is it, Outlook 365, which is a monthly cost of about, I had that here someplace, monthly of $15.40 per month, and that's based on per user. So as users go up, that cost is going to go up as well, and that's forever. So it seems to me that a one-time of $36,464 would be better than $12,000 a year indefinitely. Whereas and once we upgrade to Exchange 2019, it'll probably be good for a good 5 or 6, maybe more years. And that's all. That's the only 2 requests I have for next year. I show all the other years because we have a bunch of stuff that we got to do each year for the next 4 or 5 years. All those other costs are estimates based on past expenses, but we'll have to get next year. I'll get a more firm quote for the Equalogics, and the year after that, we'll get a better quote for the replacing of the servers, because those will be going around 8, 10 years old for those 2, and then 2 more Equalogics after that.
Okay.
Okay. So Mike, I would just recommend that. So in these columns here, it says approximately the same. So just replace that with the same dollar amount.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Mike on IT and on his 2 requests?
No, I think a sound decision on the, the purchase versus the 365. That's every year, annually, till the end of time. Mm-hmm. So that sounds fiscally responsible, and the upgrade of the computers just the annual increase that we have to deal with. So I don't have any other questions other than that. Just a couple statements.
Thank you, Colin. Anyone else? Comments, questions?
I agree with Colin. I think it's better that we make the purchase. Once you lock into that hosted solution, you are stuck with it going forward. So
as well as their changes, we're locked into that right now, and it's not pleasant on some of the things they put out. At least you can control your environment. All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. Thanks, Michael. Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
Great.
All right, next up is Chief Sullivan. Good evening, Chief Sullivan. How are you tonight? Are you here? Ah, there you are, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So on behalf of the police department, I'd like to submit our capital budget request for fiscal year 2022. And if we are approved, we would buy 3 new vehicles, 2 of which would be Dodge Durango SUVs to replace older vehicles in our patrol fleet, older vehicles with high mileage. We would then turn those older vehicles in as a trade to MHQ. In addition, we would, if approved, would buy a Ford Interceptor utility SUV to replace a 2011 Ford Transit van. This is a vehicle that's now being used by our animal control officer. Right now, it has almost 80,000 miles on it, so the mileage is not my greater concern. It's more the repair and maintenance that we've put into this vehicle. It desperately needs an upgrade. Our fleet maintenance officer did some research and made the determination that this Ford Interceptor is the best, more practical use for the animal control officer. So, and in addition to that, we would request funding. You'll see on the bottom of my letter, $4,000 for computer mounts and installation costs. And then lastly, you'll see at the bottom of my revised request, I added 3% to the total cost of these 3 vehicles. Because if we don't buy them before September 30th of 2021, the costs are likely to increase. And as you know, this will not even be on the until special town meeting in the fall. So that's it.
Chief, is the 114,800 that's on the screen, does that match your updated number?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Are there any questions for Chief Sullivan? It looks like our standard request for vehicles.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. Durangos are working out good?
Yeah, they're working out very well. We've had a lot of success with them, much more than we did in the years past with the Ford Explorers. Less maintenance costs, and they've worked out very well.
Excellent.
Glad to hear.
Good. Yeah, I just standard order here, so the annual order, so I don't have any questions at all. I think it's reasonable.
Seeing no other questions popping up, I want to
Sorry, I just have one more comment. So Chief, usually there's vehicle requests every year. This year it was the 2 marked ones, but in 23, 24, 25, 26, do you want to change that to put in amounts for cruisers to continue the maintenance of the fleet?
Yes, I apologize for that. That's a revised copy that you have there. I forgot to add those to subsequent fiscal years, but I will take care of that and resubmit.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Chief Sullivan, thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Chief Partridge for fire, I believe.
Sorry. My cursor's getting ahead of me.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Chief. How are you?
Last but not least, or they saved the best for last, right?
Best for last, always.
Yes, hang on a sec.
She's going to have the deputy come in as well, and I'd like to start by introducing everyone to the deputy. So we've had haven't had a deputy for a while, but we finally put an interim deputy in place in October. John Carroll, there he is, has been the interim deputy, has been doing a fantastic job. It's been great to work with, and hopefully will be permanent soon. So,
Welcome, John.
Welcome.
good evening, everybody. And I think you all are aware that I officially have retired already, and I'm back at, never really left, but they brought me on. I'm the interim fire chief. Nothing's really changed. Still, Oregon is pretty much like I was before. particularly with all the COVID stuff that's going on. So if you're not aware of that, I'll just take a quick few seconds. The fire department's been very actively involved with the Board of Health, running all our clinics that we're doing right now for the seniors. We did the vaccine testing, drive-through clinic, and obviously since it started, we've all been well involved in the policies and what we're doing as a town. So we've been very busy this last year. And seems like we've turned a corner though, and we're heading in the right direction. So I'll speak on FY22. I do have 23 through 26 filled out, but obviously a new chief's coming in, and he'll want the opportunity, should be given the opportunity to take a look at that with his new deputy and make changes as they feel appropriate. This past year, we did get approval for a new ambulance, so that's in the works. I did receive some updated photos today of it. The box is mounted on the chassis, so we're on schedule to get that in May, which is good. And our goal has been with that to replace our ambulance every 3 years, and ambulance every 3 years. We do run 3 ambulances, keep them for 9, and after 9 years, they've been used up pretty good. So on this year's capital, I have a new engine, a Scba helmet boot cleaning unit, and Fire Station 3 floor finishing. So we'll start with the engine. So it's, and as you know, or if you don't know, we have a lot of needs of equipment. So we have 3 fire stations, we have a large town to cover, and unfortunately, a lot of our apparatus isn't cheap, but they're needed to maintain a good fleet, public safety, preparedness and response. So I always include kind of a PowerPoint presentation which shows you all our current apparatus, year it was built, kind of a description of what it is, the current mileage, current hours, and then any notes on it, you know, if it's in, what kind of condition it's in and stuff. So this truck will be very similar to the last 2 we purchased. We made the decision with the last one that we're going to keep our fleet standard now. We're trying to mimic the trucks as much as possible, so no matter where they are, what station, everything's pretty much in the same spot. They're set up the same way for operation ease, and it's going to be a Cyclone chassis, not that that means anything to you. And the truck itself is 650,000 change, and I'm also including in that amount $40,000 to outfit it with the battery-operated Hearst tools, which you purchased for as in the past. This will be the 3rd set of battery-operated tools, and that'll give our front 3 engines all battery-operated tools, no more hydraulic power units and hose lines. So the engine will take close to a year to build once the contract's signed. So if it all goes well, this gets approved at town meeting, we'll begin work on the contract, and because of the amount and stuff, it has to go through various steps. So it usually is August, September before we're looking at that being signed. So 330 days from that point is when we can anticipate, provided there's no issues with building it, COVID, delays, anything like that. The truck will include all the ladders, hard suction on it. It will include the radios. I think I noted in my memo that it didn't include radios, but it will include radios. We'll include the MDT, mobile data terminal. We're now completely set up fleet-wide with mobile data terminals, and with the new move to SEMREC, the regional dispatch, that's been working out very good for us. Gives our people, not only in the stations do we have display boards, but in every piece of apparatus, gives them a map of where the incident is, hydrant locations, and the dispatchers are able to send real-time information to them on their MDT versus putting it over the radio, which is helpful. Do you want to take one at a time? Do you have questions on the engine first? Or I'd like to ask the deputy first. If deputy, you want to add anything to that?
No, Chief, I think you hit everything as far as the engine goes.
So our two oldest engines are a 2004, 2006. And if you recall, we had to replace the frame rails on both of those, which we did. But these two have gotten a lot of use because, unfortunately, our two newest engines have been down frequently throughout the year. So these engines, and if you look at engine 14, you'll see that that has nearly 180,000 miles on it. So that truck is used a lot. I'm hoping, we did have some issues with its pump test this past year. I want to keep them both as reserve engines because there are many times that we've seen this year that we've been down to just two engines. I've had to put 3 engines out of service. So today we were down to 2 engines. And we have 3 stations, so that puts one of our stations without an engine. So I'd like to keep both reserves, and of course the new chief can, make a decision when he comes in. But because we've invested in those 2 to keep them running, I think it's worth trying to continue running them as long as they can. So this would go at Station 1, which is near the high school. And that engine would move down to Station 3, which is it's the slowest station out of the 3 of them. So we moved that down to get a little rest. And then we'll position the 2 reserve pumps in 2 of the stations.
Question on the Cyclone chassis. Because we've had chassis issues on numerous trucks, are the Cyclone chassis doing anything different to beef up those chassis so that we don't run into issues in the future with rot and rust?
Yes, so the last 2 engines we purchased, we got the galvanized frame rails, and they're coated, treated with protection on them. So that's an additional cost, but well worth the cost to protect them. Because
I would agree.
The road chemicals just eat them up.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, and as always, if you have any questions pop up, please feel free to email, and I can answer those. So the next piece of equipment it's an Scba helmet and boot cleaner. So we've made a lot of efforts. I've been here 9 years, so I think the first year I came, we ended up buying 1 washer machine for turnout gear. So, and over the years, we've built and received some additional monies and also grants to make sure every fire station is outfitted with a gear washer, and now all of them have gear dryers. Every firefighter now has 2 sets of turnout gear. They have multiple hoods and multiple sets of gloves. So, and we put out SOPs and direction to them that after every fire they have to clean their gear, has to get washed. Hence the second set of gear for them to use, because cancer is very prevalent in the fire service. Over the years, I'll go back to when I was first joined. The dirtier your gear looked, that means you had a lot of fires, and that was kind of a badge that you wore. Well, that's unfortunate that was the way, because a lot of firefighters have gotten cancer from all the chemicals in the fires, and it's on their gear, and they're wearing that gear a lot of times. It off gases, so the gear's in the station, it off gases and it puts it into the air. So we've made great strides to make sure the firefighters have everything they need in place to protect themselves from that. The last piece I want to add is it almost looks like a dishwasher. I don't know if Wendy, do you have that picture that you could bring up?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a larger dishwasher that the SCBA unit could just go right in there with the mask that they see, and it would get deconned and cleaned. Right now, we just hose them down. We wipe them down, we hose them down, wash them down the best we can. Every firefighter has, this past year, we gave every firefighter their own mask. So now they're responsible to make sure that mask is clean and ready to go. Having this machine would allow them to be able to do that. They can also put their boots, their leather boots and gloves in there. They could put them in the washing machine, but this unit is designed to help do that, and also their helmets. Now they just, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Chief. Now, where would this unit be located?
It would
Since
go
you
at,
have three.
probably go at Station 1. Up, that's on Waltham Street.
Makes
Sorry.
sense.
Usually after a major fire, all the units go back to that station for repacking. That's where we have most of the extra hose, extra gear. So that would happen there. They could bring their gear back to their own station and wash it. Depends where they keep their second set of gear, because not everybody is assigned to the same station. So
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
thank you. No problem. Thank you. So that's the gear Scba helmet washer, and then the last item is my
The floor
fire
refinish,
station
yeah,
floor restoration. Yeah, I'm looking for my glasses. The
Make
floor.
that a little bigger.
Yeah. So, and Wendy, did you get the quote that I did send it today? So
I did.
we did get one. So it ended up coming in at 45,000 and change. I also threw some of the pictures there. So what last year the DPW got, or it might even been in my capital, we got capital money to tie Fire Station 3 into the new sewer system in Five Corners. It stops right in front of the station because the tank we have there is illegal, and so that'll get taken care of. So the hose, the floor drains will get tied into the sewer system, and the sewerage will get tied in as well. And the parking lot needs a lot of work. So as part of that money, after they do the tie-in, they're going to resurface as much of the parking lot as they can. Hopefully they have enough. So at the same time, I want to try to redo the fire station floor. I always call it a lintel, but it's not. The lintel's above the door, but right at the base of the garage door where the concrete floor meets, when they put them in at Station 3, they put steel and there's concrete on the edge. All the concrete is cracked and spalled, and it's pretty much fallen away, and all the steel is rusted tremendously. We occasionally got to break pieces off because shop pieces are sticking up. So I'll work with the DPW to do that repair. The floor company said that that's not something they normally do. So DPW will have to saw cut and cut out pieces and pour concrete at the base of all the doors. And then once that's done, then the floor company would come in, repair cracks in the floor, and they would have to shot blast the whole thing or diamond grind the entire floor, and then they'll refinish it. It's like a four-layer process, and the lines would be put on there as well. And at the same time, just prior to that, I'm not sure if it's going to be the DPW or I'm going to look to see if the sheriff's office inmates, we're going to repaint the entire station out there as well to kind of give it a little brightening and makeover. The firefighters live in the stations 24/7. I'm pretty always on their case about keeping them clean. This would give us the ability to try to make sure the station looks clean and stays clean all the time. So the price is better than what I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be more, quite frankly. Questions?
Makes sense. Would you get that lip done first before the company comes in and do the? Okay.
Yes. So town meetings May. If I know it's going to move forward, I'll try to get DPW in June to do that piece. So that way, because the floor guy said he's already booking for June. So as soon as I know it's approved, we'll try to get on his schedule and work it all out.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. And this picture here is just a sample picture from another station of what the floor might look like.
Right.
And then also, this is just from a brochure from a vendor.
And I did reach out to a couple fire departments who have used him, and all the information he gave us, he's done many, many floors. He's the leader in the industry. When we did Station 2, I opted to go on a cheaper route, and I'm very displeased and wish I hadn't done that because the floor is by no means what I'd hoped it would be, but so.
Thank you, Chief. Any other quick questions for the chief?
Congratulations on your retirement and welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. I'll see you at one more town meeting, I think.
All right.
We wish you the best.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right,
Thanks,
have a
Chief.
great night.
You too now, thank you.
All right, take care.
And next on our agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes. I believe the first one we'll look at is for January, I believe. Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Does everyone have a copy of that? Take a minute if you do. Does anyone need a copy? If someone's ready or capable to make a motion,
I make a motion to accept the minutes from January 14th, 2020.
may I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes?
They look accurate based on my recollection.
Yes, I know it's hard to recollect for a couple months ago.
It was another long
right.
time ago.
All right, if that's the case, I will take a poll. Nightingale?
Nightingale, yes.
McCarthy?
Yes.
Condon?
Oh.
Jim, we can hear you.
Yeah, we need to hear you.
I can
I'll
read
come
his
back to-
lips, but I couldn't hear him.
Yes, okay, Jim will come back to you. If you need to log off and come back in, or just try to hit the mic on the side, hit the little, there you are. I just heard you, Jim.
That, can you hear that?
There you go.
Yes.
We hear you now.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
May we have a yay from you?
Yay.
Healy?
Healy, yes.
And Blumall, yes. So that's unanimous.
Good.
If we can now look at the next one, which was
March 10th.
thank you. I thought it was March, but it can't be March. If someone's ready, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of March 10th, 2020.
In a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I actually just found one thing. I just have to fix Wendy. I put Wendy instead of Nightingale, so I can just quickly fix that right now, actually. On the very bottom of the minutes,
Okay. Thank
I
you.
believe, right? Is that on there? I'm looking at the right ones. Yes. Like right before. Do you see that? Yep.
Yep.
Oh, yep, all the way down, okay.
Sometimes I do that and I forgot to check when I was doing them. I know, I always go through, sometimes I interchange between people's first and last names.
Any other comments or edits? Seeing now, I'll take a roll call vote. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes, as amended.
Condon,
Yes.
McCarthy,
Yes, as amended.
Healy,
Yes.
and Blumwald, yes, as amended. All right, and those were the 2 minutes that had to be on offer. Is there any new business or discussions we need to have moving forward?
Just the next meeting.
Okay.
I will forward to you, I have received the capital requests from Department of Public Works, Water Division. There is also a request from Inspectional Services and Planning. And I have not received the school department capital request. I know they put it together. I believe they're just waiting for the school committee to review it and give it the blessing, and then it will come over to us. So I would like to just have either like 1 or 2 more meetings, depending on how we can schedule people to come in. I do like to always have DPW and schools together too, because they have the building and grounds and they have shared needs. So we'll try to get them together.
Does any night or day work better for the committee in the next few weeks?
I think Mondays usually don't work, but if it has to be on a Monday, then I can find a way to make it.
I think Wendy, if we can stick to the Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on
Yeah.
how it works at school and DPW over the next 2-3 weeks, whenever you need us, and we can make that work.
Okay,
Get on the calendars.
very good. I mean, Tuesday seems to be, if it doesn't interfere with Finance Committee, because now the Finance Committee is gonna start to be meeting, and that could cause a conflict with Davis.
Yeah, Patrick, pretty generally, he schedules ours for the second Wednesday of the month. And so that's typically when we'll have ours, but we usually stick to Wednesday nights around like 7:30. Other than I know we're gonna have one Monday night when we have like our joint meeting with the select board.
Right.
Thank you, Davis.
Okay. So yeah, I can get in contact with the departments and set something up, and we can get an agenda posted and get that taken care of.
That'd be great, Wendy. Any other business needs to come in front of the board? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
Move to adjourn?
A second?
I will second that.
All right, let's roll call it. Nightingale,
Nightingale, yes.
McCarthy,
Yes.
Condon,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
and Blumwald, yes. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you, and hope to see you in person someday soon.
Take care.
Well,
Good
Bye.
night.
good night.
Good night.
Right.